Welcome, guys, to the daily analysis for Feb 17th. Hope you guys enjoyed your long weekend and are ready for a pretty interesting week to come. So, this week is going to be a short week, and majority of the major events are coming out on Friday, which is the OPEX as well as the Supreme Court decision. There's not that many events until then, and yet we are coming here as constricted as we can be. So last weekly candle, you guys can already see it was an inside weekly candle, and we're opening Tuesday with a gap lower to around 596.65. Are there any major events today? We have some Fed speakers, but nothing crazy. All right, so right off the bat, let's start with the levels on the hourly charts. I had mentioned how this area, the 599.5 to 600, is going to be important on Friday. You guys can see we tried to dip lower below that, filled this gap, and then recovered right away to have a consolidation day on Friday. So now what we have here is this consolidation. And there's a very clear bottom right around 599.5 to 600. So that let's assume that 600 area is the major level of interest there. Right now we are around 597. That's our other level of importance right here. And after that we have 594. Right? So those are your levels of importance, 597 and 594 in this area. For today, as long as we are below 600, the bias is bearish. All right. So as long as we are below 600, we would say the levels of 597 and 594 become important. What happens below 594? If we hold below 594, we look for this gap fill to around 589 and potentially a test of these November lows around 583, 584. Ideally, we don't want to go below the November lows. We just want to test the support that happens there if price breaks lower. What if price doesn't break lower? What happens if we go above 600? If we go above 600, it's likely going to be a choppy day, a neutral day, and we go towards the top of the range around 606. So this area from 606 to 600 is your neutral level, similar to what we had on Friday. What happens if we break above 606? Above 606, we start the bullish part of the sequence. We go to 609, 612 and higher. So those are your levels for today. Now, what can you expect first thing in the morning today? First thing in the morning today, obviously there's a major gap. There's a major gap down. Everybody is bearish, all right? But if you look at NQ chart, what you have seen is, including yesterday's action and today's action, we have attempted this to hit this hourly 50 MA a bunch of times. All right, this is including the extended trading hours. So if we bounce this morning, go above 600, go above this hourly 50 MA, then it's just going to be a choppy day. At this point, if we are going to have a bearish day, price has to break lower directly. So you guys can see the 50 MA on the hourly has started to flatten out a bit. So with the gap down this morning, if price does bounce and can hold above this hourly 50 MA on NQ, then it's a choppy day. Otherwise, if it's going to move lower, it has to do so directly. So obviously how the market opens the first 15 minutes are going to be quite important. So that's the situation in QQQ, and those are your levels. If price does break below 594, then what has happened is you have had this 1 week of consolidation, right? And we are going to start a leg lower. So that's where some selling can happen below 594. Until that, we are in this larger consolidation range. So you have a shorter consolidation range, right? So below 600 intraday, 597 and 594 are the levels. 600 to 606 is neutral area. Above 606 is bullish. Then we have this larger consolidation range that breaks lower below 594, in which case we start the leg lower to fill this gap and then potentially the 580 support area. So I hope you guys get the two consolidation ranges, one of Thursday, Friday, and then the other one that's been running since 3rd Feb. So those are your levels for QQQ. Let's see SPY.